Hey guys, welcome back. So Rugby Performance Plan is live and we're in the in-season block. Today, me and Gassy fancy doing some lower body. So we're going to get straight into it. Come and follow us. We'll talk you through what we're programming. This is what our clients are doing right now. Lower body, here we go. Okay, so we've done our warm-up, we've done some mobility, we've done some prehab. Now we're going to get straight into the session. So Gass, what are we starting off with today?
So we've got some good strength and power work today. Obviously we're in season. This is typically going to be a Monday session if you play on a Saturday. So we're doing lower body. Like I said, we've got some strength and power. So today we're going to be starting off with depth jumps. We've got 3 sets of 2 reps on those. So we're just looking at real good quality exposure there. We're then progressing that into a light sled acceleration. So we're getting some resisted sprint work in there. So the key on that one is don't load it too heavy. I want you to have a little bit of resistance, but we're really looking to drive intent and move explosively off the line. So we've got 3 sets of 10 meters on that, and then that increases in sets as the weeks start to progress then as well. And then we're going to move on to our strength work. So that's going to be on the lower body session, we've got front squats, and then on our full body session on a Thursday, we've got box squats. I find that those two complement each other really, really nicely. The front squats are great for loading that front rack position and getting you really strong in your core. You get some really good depth on a front squat as well. So you're getting that full range of motion. And then when we come to Thursday, where we don't want as much kind of lingering DOMs and fatigue for Saturday, we're gonna pin you at a fixed range of motion. So you're not going too deep and you're not going, that big range of motion that causes some soreness, is kind of getting removed from there. And then on the box squat as well, you can typically go a bit heavier as well. So we can chase some really good load without as much soreness, which is great to prime you and activate you ready for game on Saturday. So, RDLs as well, we've got some posterior work in there, but we've got some nice nuggets on that we'll cover when we get there, and we've got some core, some single leg work, and some accessories to get through. So yeah, we'll dive straight in.
Okay, so today we're doing a depth jump. That's what I did. So Gass, maybe talk the differences between the depth jump and the drop jump.
Yeah, so with the depth jump, you're obviously looking to absorb and explode a little bit more. So we're using a little bit more of the bigger muscles involved. On the drop jump, it's a lot more about fast ground contact time. So it's a little bit more on the ankle stiffness and calf stiffness kind of work. So it's a bit more reactive, but we kind of build towards that. It's called shock training, and it's kind of the top level kind of plyometric that you can do. So you want to build up some capacity for that with some landing forces and things like that. So we're building up with our depth jumps, and then we're progressing that to a drop jump in the next block.
Nice. So here we're just going for max height. Don't worry too much, like Gass said, about quick ground contact time. Absorb, be nice and strong, and forcefully jump upwards vertically.
Nice. Very nice.
Yeah, nice little primer that. Lovely.
Yeah, gets you fired up quite nicely.
Whoa! Man got wings.
God, it's got wings.
Monday, flying on a Monday. Nice, Gass.
Ooh.
And similar as well, like, it's not taxing from a fatigue perspective, but treat it as like a power exercise. So give yourself 2 minutes, you'll feel absolutely refreshed from that. Give it a good 2 minutes because you really want high quality work. I don't want to roll straight back into this after gassing after 40 seconds. Each jump I'm trying to get max height, so make sure you respect that rest time and don't rush your session.
Yeah, for sure. So just some technique bits while we are having our rest time. Some common mistakes I see with people's jumps is, one, where their eyes are and where their head are. If you're staring at the floor and you stay staring at the floor, when you come to jump, your chest is staying down, so you're not actually allowing yourself to get up. What I want to see is a nice high chest and snapping your glutes through. All the power comes from your glutes. If you're kind of getting into this position and you're just worried about getting off the floor quickly and you're just hitting this, my big glutes, which are the big power and all the strength that comes from them, that is what is causing your kind of max height. So if you're not recruiting them and snapping them through at the top, you're leaving a lot of gains on the table. You just kind of, what you want to do is come down. As you land, I want you to think about just snapping forward and staying really tall with your chest. Keep your gaze forward and let your glutes do all the work, because that's what is the primary muscle when you're jumping.
Yes, there it is.
There it is.
So that's a set. You'll notice as well, last one, this like It's good fun. Once you've done 3 sets of this, you are ready to go heavy. You know, like it's a really, like I mentioned, we've done some hip mobility, a little bit of prehab. You do 3 sets of like max effort jumps, you're like really ready to lift, and you almost feel quite like motivated. When I say aroused, right, I mean like from a psychological perspective, training wise, your arousal levels in a training sense are high, you know, so I find it's a really good precursor to lifting heavy as well.
That concludes our depth jumps. Next we're going to move into some sled work. So 2 options for this really. If you don't have access to a sled, but you do have access to a partner, then I want you to grab your partner and grab a heavy resistance band, and you're going to do some banded excels. What we are looking for, a little bit of resistance. I still want to see some velocity, loads of good intent. So for example, that's way too heavy for us now. I'm probably going to look at about 2 plates maybe, 3 plates max. And I want to move this as fast as I can. We're starting off week 1 here with 3 sets of 10 meters. The gym wall to wall is 10 meters. So 3 sets of that. That's going to fire us up. As the weeks progress, we will just start adding some sets onto this just to kind of get more exposure to it.
Nice.
But this complements our week really nicely. In our in-season block at the moment, we have also prescribed sprint sessions as well. So we've got some resisted sprint work here or some acceleration work here. Last block we did an acceleration block, so this block we're now progressing into some max velocity work. We're keeping this in just to get some acceleration and some resisted sprint work in there. Technique on this, looking for some nice high knees, okay? So looking for some really strong shapes. It's more of a piston action with the legs, so I want to see them pumping, okay? Try and keep your back nice and flat to make sure it's a nice efficient power output.
Nice, Gas. Enjoy Gas is doing nice there. So I might actually just spin this sideways, Gas, for people so you can see. It's like when you accelerate, if you look at all the top sprinters, their knees are really high. They're like this. Toes are up, knees are really high. So when we're doing this sled work here, think of it as like an acceleration. We don't want it to sort of be deep like that. It's bang, bang, bang. So like your heel doesn't obviously touch the floor, but you're driving your knees a lot. So Gassy did that really nice. It was really, if you pause that when Gassy's doing it, each rep he's sort of finishing in here in that big triple extension.
These hips is another big focus. If you come out of this and you don't engage your glutes and you just keep that leg bent a little bit. So a lot of people kind of stay in that shape and not using again those big glute muscles, that's all your power. So really extend. That's a great space, great position to be in. Fire the hips, fire your glutes up. And yeah, like nice big strides, just think big powerful strides.
Yeah. So that's how you accelerate. If you're a rugby player listening to this, if you're coming off the line, you're not like this. You're getting in and you're boom, boom, careful Sam.
Easy now.
Yeah, easy on the calf. But you're bang, bang, you know, so there's not little steps, it's big, big steps.
So those first couple of steps are the most important as well.
Yeah.
Like before that momentum builds up on the sled, like I really want you to focus on getting it moving as fast as possible. Yeah. Just for my last working set, we're just going to show you an exercise swap for if you don't have a sled. And if you don't have a sled, you better have access to some resistance bands. So what I quite like doing with a resistance band, if you only have one heavy one, you can just loop it around the hips. But it's similar to what we were just saying about wanting to extend your hips. If you've just got one resistance band and a partner hanging off your hips, it's going to be quite hard to get into extension. So I actually quite like wrapping it around like a harness up here and then looping the second band through they can hold. This is going to help you to fight into that low position. So it's actually getting a bit of core out of it. You're kind of fighting into this low body position and it still allows you to kind of get that good extension to the hip. So it's quite a nice technique
nice tip.
So I'll loop this round. Wolves will then loop through here.
Through both, yeah?
Through both, yeah.
Yeah, I got a nice solid voice on that then.
And very similar to the sled, like if you don't have a sled for anything, your partner can dictate whether you're doing strength or power here.
It'd be good for to see that.
Yeah,
that's a really nice one. So you can see that's real solid now. So like Gas said, that's a real good tip to get in the band.
I want to stay in that low position, so I want to explode from here. Again, those first couple of steps are the most important. Warbs is then going to dictate how much resistance he gives me. So with those wanting to train this for speed and power work, just a little bit of light resistance is great. Still allow your partner to get some good acceleration. We don't want to see them like fighting and struggling.
It's not a bear crawl.
It's not a bear crawl. So this is still for speed work. But ready, bro?
Yep. Nice, Gas. That seemed on the money pretty much. I felt right. Yeah, nice. Lovely. Yeah, nice.
And we're still looking for those. It's actually quite a nice one, a bit more specific, I guess. Nice that you can do on the pitch as well to prime before a pitch session, but it's nice to have the arms and being able to swing and actually feel that position as well. So really nice variation if you don't have access to a sled.
Okay, so here's the difference between myself at 37, but I'd be doing this when I was in my 30s anyway. Even boys in their late 20s, even guys with injury history compared to my Gas, who's relatively injury-free, 25. So what I would do is so front squat for me, it just annoys me, right? I've been training long enough. It's a great exercise. That's why, annoys my body. Yeah, it's a great exercise, and we should have it in the plan. But I just find it just aggravates me. It just really just bugs my lower back. I've got a bulge in my lower back. So what I do, and this is what you as a coach would give like an older athlete, so if you listen to this in your 30s and above, you don't always have to chase exactly what the plan says. That's why we give swaps. So what I do safety bar. I got limited range of mobility in my shoulders, so I find front squat a little bit harder. I can do it, but I just find it a bit harder. And for whatever reason, I'm not clever enough, but safety bar squat does not annoy my lower back. So we always say injury prevention is number one. I'm just going to maintain, because I'm at a stage in my life and career where I'm probably not chasing top end max strength. I've probably hit out my ceiling. So I'm just going to do some 8s. I'm just going to do like 3 sets of 8. I'm just going to treat it as more of like a maintenance type session, so I can keep whatever muscle mass I've got, whatever strength levels I've got. I'm not going to go chasing 3s because it's going to bug my back. I can do that on other exercises. So I'm just going to consolidate 3 sets of 8s on here. Gassy is going to follow the rep range like normal, but they're just the subtle tweaks that you can make if you have got some injury history versus if you haven't. That's absolutely fine. That's why we provide swaps. So not every one person's the same. You'll learn and listen to your body, but that's just the swaps I'm going to make for this session, just to suit me as an aging athlete.
And for the athletes that aren't carrying some niggles, this is what we have prescribed on today's session. So we're at kind of the start of what we're transitioning into a bit of a max strength phase, looking to test again around that December time. So back into December, looking to test our 1RM. So we're just at the start, so we're just starting to get a bit of an exposure to max strength. So we've got some 3s here. We've got 4 sets in total. We've got 2 sets of a nice heavy triple. We then got a bit of a mid-repper for a 6, and then we've got a bit of a back off for 12, just to get a little bit more volume into the movement. It's a different movement if you haven't been doing front squats for a while, so I quite like to finish off with a bit of a back off set. It doesn't have to be all the way to failure, but it's just nice to get some extra reps out, build some confidence in the movement and some coordination as well. So relatively heavy for me, this one. We'll see how it goes. But yeah, we've got some fronties, 4 sets, starting off with a nice heavy triple.
We're just going to look at this set. I want you to look at Gassy's shape and profile, which is really good. Too many times we see front squats, and you go down, and then somebody will use a bit of forward momentum to try and get it up. They might shrimp their back a little bit, and it's horrible. Gassy's really good at staying strict. And look at his spine position. You're more upright on a front squat because you have to be than a back squat. Gassy keeps that vertical spine and he gets really good range of motion. So let's have a look at Gass.
It comes as well from really fighting. If you get back into that low position for me. At the bottom here, I really want you to fight to keep your elbows high. That's going to allow you to keep your chest nice and high as well.
Good tip.
In turn, hopefully keep your torso nice and high. As soon as, because you're loading the front of your body, as soon as that weight kind of comes off your center of mass, you want to go this way. And that's where a lot of lower back pain comes from then. Or you get kicked out the back end of the rep. So try and fight to keep your torso nice and upright. Keep your elbows high because that's where it's all going to come from. Really tense those lats, push them up nice and high. We've got some good tips and some technique changes that you can do if you struggle getting into that position. So I'll walk you through those afterwards. But try and get a little 130 down first.
I've done enough talking. Get the music on and you can get a set done. We've explained it all now.
Why they be down the board? Tell them it's part of the plan. Hundreds of underdog feeding them slaps. The gains in the palm of my hand. Whoa, they want me to fail. This is personal. They sleeping on me. This is perjury. You make it nobody else heard of you. Tell it that.
Right, apologies for the panting. Front squats, I feel like it's one that people get wrong quite a lot or struggle with. Now, a lot of people complain about pressure in the neck and it's sitting almost on the windpipe, going lightheaded, whatever that might be. So in terms of this setup, I usually go about a thumb or just inside a thumb of the knurling. And I want you to try and pull yourself into the bar as much as you can, try and keep a full grip on it, but you're probably going to end up about here. What I'm looking for is for you to keep your elbows really nice and high. If I come this side, that's going to create a shelf on your shoulder. That's where the bar should be sitting. Your bar should not be sitting on your actual collarbone or your windpipe. It should be you should have your shoulders so raised like this that it just sits nicely on that shelf. And then that's nice and comfy. Similar to your back squat, you don't want it sat on your neck, you want it sat on your big trap muscles. So try and create that shelf by there. That's going to take some of the pressure off your windpipe, which would be nice. So you can actually breathe. The other one then is mobility, not allowing people to actually get into that front rack position. Now, grab yourself some straps. And what we're going to do is just make some handles out of them. If I can coordinate myself. Pull them nice and tight on the bar. And then pick your grip width like you normally would, but then you can kind of come as far down the strap as you need to make it comfortable for you. So this is going to give you some false mobility and actually allow you to get your elbows nice and high without kind of your wrists or your elbows or your shoulder mobility holding you back. So you can pull them, get them nice and high, get into that position, and then all of a sudden you're in a really sturdy place to keep those elbows high and get a full squat in. I way prefer my clients to use straps and hold on to those as opposed to hitting this kind of zombie thing like this, because that's just not very stable or secure. So opt for these, you'll get a lot more load out of it, it'll be a lot more comfy, and then we can work on your mobility on the side then. I hope that helps.
Old man swap series. I'm an expert at this. So Gassy is doing a barbell RDL. Again, another brilliant exercise. Annoys me because I'm old and injured. So I'm going to give you 3 regressions from a traditional barbell. So this is what I do when I do RDL. I still think it's really important to be able to be strong in a hinge, just for everyday life. I've got to pick up kids all the time. If I'm not strong in a hinge, my back's going to go eventually. So I'm sure there's lots of people out there with kids, they have a bad back, and it's the straw that breaks the camel's back. It's one little, you're picking up some innocuous box and your back goes. It's just because it's just accumulative. So let's be strong on this hinge, but we don't have to chase max strength like Gassy. So if you don't want to do a barbell RDL, which I don't like doing, because a barbell RDL, like I said, good exercise, but for me, you've got to clear your knees with the bar at the front. It means you have to have a little bit more forward lean. So I like the dumbbells, because with a dumbbell, it just moves your center of mass. So my spine is slightly more vertical. So I find a dumbbell can slide down my legs, and I don't have to lean forward as much. It doesn't annoy my lower back. So here's one example. If you're a little bit older, you want to do RDL. Another really nice one, because dumbbells, you're limited a little bit with weight. So most gyms won't go up to 50, 60 kilos, 120 kilo. Now, if I can obviously RDL a bit more than 120 kilos, so if I want to do a little bit more, then I like a hex bar RDL. Hex bar RDL is lovely. Same sort of thing as a dumbbell. I don't have to clear my knees and be too far forward. I can be a little bit more upright. It's slightly a little bit more like a squat position, but that's a lovely RDL regression as well. And then old man level 3, which is what I'm on at the minute, which is a landmine. Now, there's less axial loading when it's single leg, obviously, because you're lifting a lot less weight. So here, with the bar is 20, this is 20, obviously some of it's offset. So all I do here is I do a single leg RDL. I don't want to put too much weight through my back because it annoys me, so even I find the hex bar can be a bit tricky when I go heavy. So I just do a single leg landmine, like that. It's very lightweight, but it's really challenging my hamstring and glute without annoying my lower back. So there's my RDL old man series for you, and I'm on level 3. So if you've got a dodgy lower back, come and join me, do some single leg landmine RDLs.
We've got RDLs. Now, it's been a bit of a theme of this video, talking about the glutes and their importance, but RDL is going to be great for that posterior chain strength and power, which is going to be super important to pretty much everything on the pitch. Sprinting, jumping, change direction, everything. So we want nice strong glutes and hamstrings. RDL is going to be really good for that. So today we've got 4 sets of 5, and we've prescribed this at around 77% of your 1 rep max. Now, your 5 rep max is probably going to be around 85%. So for 5 reps here, when we're working at 77%, we're working slightly in reserve. So we're probably 2 or 3 reps away from failure. You do not need to be chasing failure on an RDL. That's not the purpose of the exercise. Yes, we want to see it get strong. Yes, we want to see it progress in weight and in reps. However, we do not need to be right up on the wire of failure. So we want to stay relatively fresh. It's one of those exercises that can cause quite a bit of soreness. I get quite a bit of soreness from my RDLs as well. So I'm going to park up about 140, 150 today, get a really good quality kind of 5 reps out. I'll talk you through some of the form as we go as well, because I think a lot of people sometimes get it wrong. They try and chase way too much range of motion, end up overcompensating to the lower back, and that kind of pisses off their lower back. So we want to see Probably, for me, I'm looking at just below my knee, top of the shin is really good. I can keep that all in my hamstrings and glutes. My pelvic, I can kind of tilt it so that I stay here, which is going to help to lengthen my hamstrings, as opposed to me kind of chasing that range at the bottom through my lower back. So you don't have to go super low. As long as you can feel that stretch and you can feel it activating, it's not a mobility exercise. I'm not looking to try and improve your range of motion with it. I want you to get really strong just in that fixed range of motion, okay? And then it's a big glute drive back up to the top. But yeah, we'll get into some working sets now. I'm just going to go through my top 3 technique points for the RDL. Number 1 is going to be obviously keeping the back relatively straight. I want to see your chest kind of coming down parallel with the floor. Okay, so we're looking to try and get that parallel. Number 2 is keep your hips high. Everyone talks about getting your bum to the back of the room. I want to see them staying high because that's what's going to cause the length in the hamstrings. Yes, it should move back as well because we're trying to keep that bar in the center of mass, but we want the hips to stay high because that causes the lengthening of the hamstrings. Otherwise, it kind of just coming down into this. So I want to see them high and back. And then finally, like I said, just below knee is perfect. Don't go chasing around your ankles like this because you'll just get all the range through your low back.
So Bulgarians, right, this is one, again, this is how I just treat leg training. I don't go to failure on Bulgarians for 6, I can't. Not because I'm mentally weak, because I've got 3 kids to chase around tomorrow and a dog to walk and other jobs to do, and I don't want to be the next day so dommed, which this will give you. The worst DOMs if you've got a failure, if you can chill out, you've got an office job, you can sit down for the next couple of days, by all means go to failure, but I would rather sacrifice a few reps, leave a few reps in the tank and build more slowly and not suffer with insane DOMs for days. So that's just my approach to Bulgarian split squats. The single best exercise in my opinion, but I just don't go to failure because I don't want to have horrendous legs for the next 3 days. But you can still build size and strength by not going to that point. But I agree, you'll get there quicker if you go to failure, but I just don't want the discomfort the next few days. You might be wondering, some of you might have, we've used this a bit through our YouTube series and when we program and do videos. This is a specific Bulgarian split squat attachment. Now, the reason we use this is ever so slightly lower than a bench. A bench is fine because most gyms don't have them, but a bench is a little bit higher than maybe we'd like. So as you go down, because it's higher, you might find that the quad stretch might limit. It will give you a little bit of discomfort, limit your range of motion, it'll give you a bit of discomfort. So it's actually a little bit better because this is an exercise for the front leg. So this is only for balance really. It's essentially a single leg squat with your back leg balance. We don't want your back leg pushing off like this to get you up. It's very much a front leg move. So you just focus, when you're doing it yourself, focus on just pushing through that front leg. You're not using this as leverage, it's just for balance really. So just a tip, if you can, in an endorsement, this is a Mirror Fit. I think this is about like, it might have changed price now. It's between like 30, 40 quid, something like that. I think it's a brilliant attachment. You'll do it on your dumbbell, on your Bulgarian split squat. It rotates a little bit, so it follows you on the way back, it follows you on the way up. I think it's a lovely little attachment if you want to take your leg training seriously. Cable wood chop, we're going to go for 8 to 10. Now, I've just been playing around. I'm going to use this grip because I find when you use like a single grip D handle, I don't know, it's just a bit like fingers are uncomfortable and you're not sure what to do with your hands. Here it's just quite easy. You just do this. Now, with this, we are rotating. Sometimes you might have seen us do Palovs where it's like more isometric. This, we actually want to get some rotation in. So go all the way around. We don't want too much, we don't want your legs doing this. We don't mind you spinning at your hips, but keep those knees facing forwards, okay? So that weight is going to go all the way through your core. Do you want to add anything to that, guys?
Yeah, I just want to see his almost lower half here stays facing me. And then he's tracking his hands with his head and letting that torso rotate then. Try and get a nice big stretch, let it feel kind of as you come across, and then try and keep it in your core as you drive through then. But honestly, it's one of my favorite core exercises that we do. Bit of loaded rotation work, I think it's so transferable.
I've got another set, but why I like this one, this is one of my go-tos as a player.
Is it?
And I used to love it. And without pumping up my tyres, I felt I was quite strong in contact when it was we called it the sort of like by time in the tackle, sort of tackle, like the choke tackle. When you grab someone, just hold them, you want to hold them up. Now, if you want to be good at that, you want landmine half moons and you want this. And I found it's a great one when you go for strength, not like we said this before, not fluffy 12s like this. hard ass fucking 8s or whatever. And when someone comes into you then, you can really like pick them up, you can drag them around. And that is, all that strength comes from your core. It's not from your legs, it's not from your arms, it comes from your core if you want to be good at choke tackling. So if you're a rugby player, don't overlook this stuff. This is what's going to make you really strong in contact.
And I want you to treat this like every other exercise that we do. We say this all the time with core training. Treat your core training like you would your bench press.
Yep.
I want to see you, and this is why the app is so good that we use. You log all your weights, it's going to recommend some progressions. I want to see progressive overload in this like you would in any other exercise. So try and add a little bit of weight each week and really chase strength in it. Challenge it. You should really fight. If you had a look at Bob's face right now, he's probably making the most minging facials ever. But you want to be chasing strength and really trying to earn those reps. And then, like I said, progressive overload in this, your core strength will massively increase. It'll transfer to all your lifts. It'll transfer to the pitch as well. Then we're straight up into hanging leg raises. So we're pairing some rotation with some flexion, a bit more of the sexy beach muscles. On this, what I'm looking for is don't just kind of spin your knees like this. It's just hip flexor. I want to see you crunching up, okay? So try and bring those knees either up to your shoulders or your chin, whatever coaching cue makes more sense. And nice and slow on the way down. Get a good stretch at the bottom, let the muscles pull, and then bring it back up to the top.
So that's one of our live programs now. Now we are building up to a max strength and testing phase in December as well. So it's a good time to jump on now if you want to get tested, and that gives you a good foundation as well to kick on into the new year as well. 15 sets of legs, 4 to 6 sets of core to finish, job done.
Good session.
Nice one. Cheers guys, see you on the next one.